For those of you who do not know me or we're meeting for the first time, my name is Aisha Taylor Issa. I am the proud and humble founder and CEO of the Sisters in Business Expo, the country's only multi-city small business expo with an intentional focus on entrepreneurial women of color. We are gearing up for our second tour for 2019. We kicked off our first tour in 2018. And we will be returning to the same cities. We're so excited to be coming to Newark, New Jersey on April 13th, Philly on July 13th, Columbia, South Carolina on August 10th, and Atlanta, Georgia on September 7th. We are just overjoyed about the amazing response that we've received thus far and how much this movement has grown to become what it is today. And so we're just really excited. We made a lot of big announcements over the last couple of days. And so tonight's chat is one of those announcements. We, over time, we have been, chatting with various sisters in business, kind of just sporadically, randomly here and there, whenever I would get on live. But we thought that it was something that we should make more formal, an opportunity for you to hear from other sisters in business. And we will feature a few brothers too, who are getting it done and who have chased their dreams and who've reached measurable success in their brands. And so we decided to formalize the Founders Chat. So every week I will be joined by a different founder of a business or an organization who will share some of their experience and their expertise and their knowledge and just some different nuggets and gems for all of us so that we can all learn from one another. So we are really excited tonight. I'm going to get our first guest on. So Casey, you can go ahead and send me that request to join the live. There it is.
Oh, it's connecting. I see it. I see it.
There you are.
Hi.
Hi. I hope everybody can hear and see you. Somebody give us a thumbs up if you can hear both myself and Casey. Say hey to the folks.
Hello, everyone. I hope you guys hear us. Yep, I see a thumbs up.
All right, we're good to go. Well, thank you so much, Casey, for being with us tonight. I am just so excited about what God is doing through you and your husband and Blended Designs. And we had, I was going to say a chance meeting, but it was not a chance meeting. It was a God design meeting where we were both vending and just showcasing our brands together at the Black Enterprise Entrepreneur Conference last summer in Charlotte. Yep. And just had an immediate connection, hit it off, and just have been sisters in business ever since. And I'm just so grateful that God allowed our paths to cross, and have just been so blessed to watch your journey just in the time that I've known you. So thank you. Thank you for being with us.
Well, I want to thank you for having me, but I also want to, more importantly, thank you for what you are doing for us. We are always looking for vending opportunities, and obviously to be able to go to an opportunity that is, in a sense, for us by us, is just absolutely amazing. We loved it. We had a great time at the one in Atlanta, and we're definitely looking forward to going to hang out with you guys again this year.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. So let's get right into it. I want you to tell everybody just a little bit about you and how Blended Designs came to be. Okay. What's the story behind your brand?
So like Aisha said, my name is Casey Kelly. I am the CEO and founder of Blended Designs. We started the business, my husband and I, back in 2014 when we first got married. It was completely different than what we're doing now. We, as part of our getting married, with saving money, we kind of did everything ourselves, and everyone was like, oh, you guys should start your own business. That would be cool. And we have a blended family. He has 5 girls from his first marriage, and I have 2 boys. And our oldest daughter said, let's name it Blended Designs. And so that's kind of how the business started. But how our path started, we were in, my husband and I were going through some things with me personally at work. And so we decided to call our pastor that married us, like, what should I do? And he's like, you know what? You need to fast for 3 days. And so, and I know that you can appreciate that, but we fasted, like cold turkey fast, like off social media, no food, no water, just complete fast for 3 days. And during that fast, our youngest son, Carter, he was 8 years old at the time, came to us and said, I want you guys to make a backpack that looks like me. And I mean, he like wanted to have a meeting and everything. So I'm like, well, I don't know if that's really a good idea. And he was like, and I'm like, you know, so I'm trying to talk him out of it, you know, trying to not crush his dream, but at the same time, get him to think through as to why it did not make sense, which kind of backfired on me. Cause I'm like, well, who would carry it? So I'm asking him like marketing questions. Who would carry it? He's like, everyone. I said, so everyone would carry something with your face on it. And I'm like, where would they carry it? He said, to school. And then he's like explaining to me that there's no backpacks that look like him. And my background is computer insights. So I'm the person that would like analyze the data to understand what people are buying and why people are buying it. So I use that skill set to look at the data. I found 670 backpacks with characters on them, and then less than 2% had children of color. So I was like, oh, well, Carter might be on to something. And then it was no coincidence that it came during our fast. So I actually decided to not go back to work. And my last day of work was March 24th, 2017. We launched the backpacks March 27th, 2017.
Wow.
And everything has just been in decency and order. Like we have just been so incredibly blessed with how it's happened. But I think it's, you know, again, because it came from praying and fasting.
Wow. What a beautiful story. So you mentioned that prior to launching the business officially, you were working in computer. What was the term you used?
Computer insights. So
computer insight. Okay. And that helped you to research and see what was going on in the market. How has that experience, you know, continued on as you continue to grow the business to help you?
So I use data to address everything. So because my career is data driven, I need to understand what's happening in the market, what's happening in our cycle, like our buying cycle, we know is July and August, obviously. So I'm looking at data to see what's driving certain behaviors. We know that, you know, everybody that has an Instagram business account, they have insights, and people don't know how to use those insights. So when we look at the insights, I'm looking at where are our markets. And so those markets will drive our decisions as to where we're going to our events. It drives how we're targeting our consumers. Like all of those things make sense, but it's because that's my world, the world that I live in. And, you know, we use data for everything. So every single decision that we make, we base it on what data has said because of my background.
And I think that that's so key, because a lot of times, particularly women of color, we're doing two things, right? We usually have our career, and then we're also trying to grow and manage our business, and we don't realize the value and the transferable skills that we get and that we can use from our careers in order to help with our businesses.
And I honestly believe that whatever your career is, you can use it in your business, and that career is really just your training ground and your foundation for whatever your true calling is. And so we were able to, you know, like even with my husband, his background is behavioral health. You know, he works with children. So it really makes sense for us to understand the emotional intelligence, so that we're knowing what's driving how these kids react to the bags. It's not, you know, just coincidence that there's an emotional connection to a sense of empowerment. And so we're empowering these children, but that comes from my husband's background.
Wow. It's just amazing how God aligns everything and we don't even realize it until after the fact. That's incredible. So 2014 was when you officially got the idea, the concept for the business. Here we are in 2019, just 5 years later, not even a full 5 years. It was just at the beginning of the year. And Blended Designs has, for lack of a better term, blown up. Right. And I know you're modest. I know you're humble, but it has been doing amazing. Right. Some of the biggest names have been featured with the bag. Some of the biggest brands and publications have featured your company and brand. When did you know that you were on to something, and what would you attribute to the success that you've had in such a short amount of time?
So there's a couple things. One, we started Blended Designs 2014. We didn't start the backpacks till 2017.
Oh,
so,
wow.
So
what were you making before that? Anything?
Yeah, it was all things that were like towards weddings. It was like puzzles. Will you be my bridesmaid? Like little things like that.
Okay.
Things, little Etsy things.
Okay.
Nothing that I could have walked away from my job from. Like it was a side hustle, for lack of a better word. But I think with Blended Designs, we knew that it was going to be successful. There were a couple things that happened. Again, because of my background, I know if you go to a retailer, the retailer is going to give whatever deck you have to someone that did my job. And so I built a deck and I sent it to through a connection to the VP of Supplier Diversity at Walmart. He called me within an hour. So that was our validation that we were onto something.
Okay.
And I think that because, as I mentioned, we prayed and we fasted and we were really guided our steps, that path directed us. And it's almost like everything happens for a reason. We already know that. So with Walmart, it took a really long time just to get everything launched. Like it's literally a 6-month process to get into the store. So during that time, we were having other successes. So I feel like God placed Walmart there so that we would know this can work. Go ahead, keep doing what you're doing. This is going to work. But then he put Walmart on hold so that we could see we don't really need Walmart. That's really not the path that we're going. We were very, very fortunate that, I always say I owe our success as far as social media to Yandy Smith. Yandy Smith came across our backpacks and shared them to her followers. And that was the turning point in our business. Like that opened it up. And we've always been very careful about staying true to our brand, being very high ethical standards is very important to us. Making sure that we're doing it for the love and for the sense of empowerment. We're doing it for, we're not, we give back. We're trying, we're doing different things to help other small businesses. I mean, I have on another small business owner's t-shirt, so we always are doing something to try and help. And I think because we're coming from a good place and that we're doing it with a true purpose in mind, we've been blessed as a result of it.
So what have been some of the challenges that you've experienced, particularly in growing at a rapid pace, but then just in general, in terms of building the brand, what have been some of your most significant challenges?
The first challenge was we grew too fast. So we had, we thought we would sell 1,000 backpacks the first year. We started in March 2017 through the help of my mom, my sister, my brother-in-law. We got the money together to buy the inventory because we didn't want it to drop ship. We wanted to make sure that it was our product and that we were hands-on with everything. So we got the money together to order 1,000 backpacks. That's all we ordered. And then Yandy shared us and we're like, wait, what just happened? So it just blew up and we had all of these orders coming in. So it was trying to keep up with the demand. So everything that we were doing at that time became reactive. We ended up doing, within our first 4 months of business, $250,000 in sales. So, but we had nothing to show for it because we're paying rush production. We're paying rush express shipping. Like all of that was just taking every bit of margin we possibly could have had. So then we found a venture capitalist that helped us and really helped get our structure together for 2018. And, we planned everything accordingly. And it's still a challenge, like one of my husband jokes that the challenge is, are the quality of our backpacks. Customers don't need them every year. We're like, go ahead and get two. You know, most people buy backpacks every year, but the quality, and we don't want to compromise the quality, of course, but you know, how do we drive so customers will still want to buy another one, even though the one that they have is fine?
They could just be like me and buy for every kid they know.
I'm trying to get people to do it.
Like, who else can I get one for? I actually bought one kid twice because I forgot I had already got them. So when I texted her mom, it was like, I got a bag. She was like, you already gave him one? I was like, oh.
Too funny. And it's so funny because like I don't see orders come in anymore. And every now and then I'll see like you know, the messages or the reviews, and I'm like, oh, she bought one. Oh, thank you. So it's, you know, it's always real cool to get support from people that you know.
So how did you know, you mentioned a lot of business terms, right? Like drop shipping and manufacturer and venture capitalist. With this being your first, I assume your first time as an entrepreneur, how did you learn all of these different things and navigate this process?
Okay, so I went with my mother, was working for a company in Boston, and she went to the Massachusetts Women's Conference. And I advise any woman that is on this line to go to that at least one time.
Okay.
I went
to Massachusetts Women's Conference?
Massachusetts Women's Conference, yes. And it's in December, so it's cold. And, you know, I live in Florida. Yeah. So, but the first time I went, Sarah Blakely was the keynote. She's the founder of Spanx, for those of you that don't know. And there were a couple of things that she was saying about how she started her business. Like she was talking about going to manufacturers. And I was like, oh, I didn't think of that. You know, she had this idea, this concept, going to manufacturers to find them. And so right after I left there, I was listening to a podcast, and I heard someone say, ideas have expiration dates. And it was the founder of Green Top Gifts, you know, the cute black Santa Claus Christmas paper. So she said, oh, love them. So she said, if ideas have expiration dates. And what she meant by that was that she came up with this idea and she kind of let it ride. And when she let it ride, because life got in the way, things happen, somebody else came up with the idea. So if an idea happens and it's a good one, you got to move very quickly on it. So that's what I got from that. But I also, so those two things happened back to back. So when Carter came to me with the idea, I was like, okay, I have to find a manufacturer. So I'm like literally Googling, like, how can I find someone that can make this backpack for me and make it the way I want it to make? I knew about dropship just simply because of my background and my career. You know, dropship is a product that's already made. You put your design on it, and that product is shipped directly to the customer. And it's a very low margin, so you're not going to make a lot of money on it. But it's also very low overhead as well. You don't have a lot of control on how the product looks. You don't have, you know, you can't say, I want you to use this type of fabric. I want these inches and all of these dimensions. And I didn't want that for the backpacks. I wanted to make sure we could do it. So that term was something that I already knew. Venture capitalists, I'm a Shark Tank fan. So I watched Shark Tank. So I knew, you know, what it meant. And I also know that, especially women of color, we cannot get funding. We are less than 0.3%, I think, of all funding goes to women of color. So it's just really, really a challenge. And being able to go in there with a pitch, I looked at some of the things that Damon John had said about things that they look for of people on Shark Tank, because we were, you know, trying to figure out if we could go on Shark Tank before we got our VC. And one of the things that people mess up is they don't have results, or they don't have data that can say, this is what my results will be if I can support this. And because, again, back to the insights and analytics, I was able to provide all of that when we told our story. So that's, you know, I would advise anyone that's looking for money and looking for an investor to spend time doing that. Spend time trying to figure out who you are, what you have, why your product is a differentiator, like what makes you different from everyone else. And then what are your results are going to be? Where can you go? when we went to see our VC, you know, he was like, okay, so backpacks, what's so special about these backpacks? And we're like, well, we did $250,000 in 4 months from our garage. And he's like, oh, okay, so let's talk
now
about
you have my attention.
Right. So, and it's really just trial and error, and going to those networking events, going to the conferences where you can listen and hear what people are saying and the feedback that they can give you.
That's great. That's amazing. That's amazing. For those who might just be tuning in, Aisha Taylor Issa, founder and CEO of Sisters in Business, and we are here for our founders chat with Casey Kelly, founder and CEO of Blended Designs, the creators of the amazing backpacks and lunch bags and other designs that feature children of color. They have been champions of representation for people of color, and we're so excited to be chatting with Casey. We're getting ready to wrap up soon, so if you have any questions for Casey, I'm going to ask you to drop them in the comments now, so that we can get to them if we have time at the end. If you have any questions for Casey of Blended Designs, one thing that I wanted to touch on is the fact that what I mentioned about representation, right? That there's so much more behind it being just a backpack, right? That it's about our children and our people seeing themselves. Can you talk a little bit about how important that is, you know, and why that has really been integral in the brand's, you know, success?
So I think, you know, when we went to our first event, the first event that we did was Indiana Black Expo in Indianapolis. My husband and I are both originally from Indiana. So, you know, to go back home, of course, was important to us. And seeing the kids like literally hug the backpacks, it was just like, whoa, like, you know, they walk up to them, they hug them. And it's because they see themselves in a way that no one has ever shown them that they could be before. And then to have that message of I can do anything, you know, that sense of empowerment, because I don't know that we tell them that enough. You know, we tell them, yeah, go to college, do this or whatever, but, you know, we guide them, but we don't tell them, you know what, you can do anything. And that actually came from a t-shirt, which is also Carter's idea. You know, Carter is now 10. He is the creative director of Blended Designs because when he comes up with an idea, it's amazing. But he come up with a t-shirt idea that said, Mommy, I want a t-shirt that says I can do anything. And so I put Philippians 4:13 on it because it's bigger than just I can do anything. And so we considered that t-shirt. Carter happened to have that t-shirt on when we did the artwork for his backpack. The first one, we used his face. And so we've used different shades of children. That was important. You know, I have natural hair. So it was important to me to have natural hairstyles, different versions of natural hairstyles. And the funny thing is that we find that adults tend to pick children or characters that look like their children. And so there's things that we're realizing that we're still instilling colorism into our kids. But the kids pick the bags for random reason. Oh, I like the teddy bear. Oh, I like, you know, the bubble gum. Like they're not necessarily seeing that. Now, not to say that there's not kids that pick them because they look like them, but the majority of children are picking for absolutely random reasons. And, but it's still like to them, they all look like them. They're all children of color, so they all look like they're familiar to them. There's something that they normally don't see, you know. And when we get the emails that, can you make one that is light skinned without hazel eyes? Because my daughter's light skinned without hazel eyes. And I'm like, but your daughter didn't have blonde hair and she had Elsa, you know? So I'm thinking that and trying to get people to see that it's bigger than the shade of the color, the shade of their skin. It's so much bigger than that. It's still a child of color that is saying, I can do anything. There was a person that posted when we first launched the backpacks. She said, I don't have any children yet, but when I do, I'm going to make sure they have this backpack so they are reminded I can do anything whenever they reach for a pencil. And that was just so powerful to me. And I'm like, wow, you know, we're not selling backpacks. And we keep saying that we're not selling backpacks. it's bigger than backpacks.
Right, right. The backpack is just a means, right?
Right.
To the much bigger end. That's incredible. So we do have a couple of questions. We're going to get to those, but my last one to you is just, you've already shared a few nuggets, but what advice would you give to a fellow sister in business or brother who is, kind of just starting out, trying to find their way, and feeling maybe a little defeated?
One, ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
I have every opportunity that we get, we talk to people. I have somebody in our office today that's trying to build his business. You would be surprised at the number of people that are trying to help other people, because the ultimate goal is to have a Black Wall Street. We want to buy Black, and we need more Black products out there. Do your research. Go to the conferences. There's I saw come through, Harvey put through there, Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street is a conference that happens in Durham, North Carolina. That's an amazing conference because it's broken out into different pieces of where you are in the business. It helps you with marketing, helps you with social media, helps you with financing, getting your business plan, all of those different pieces that you have to do. Ask questions, don't give up. I see some, Harvey just put that. Like, there's so many different things that it's okay to ask. All people are going to say is no, but there's always going to be someone that says yes. I'll say yes. I will figure out a way to answer questions. Anybody that reaches out to us, we ask. Going to the Sisters in Business Expo, you're networking with other businesses. There were people that came up to us like, so how did you guys get started? Just came up with the idea and just went with it. It's as simple as that. But sometimes people don't realize it's just like, so all I have to do is just do it. Yeah, all you have to do is just do it.
Absolutely. Okay, great. So we have a couple of questions. Seems like the most frequent one is about venture capitalists. So we'll put these two together. What is a venture capitalist, and how hard was it for you to get connected with one? How did you find them? Was it through an accelerator?
Our VC is an accelerator. So what a venture capitalist is they're basically investing into your company for equity. There's different types of venture capitalists. So equity is a percentage of your business. And I would tell you, no matter what, never give up. Set a number, because so think of right now, you're 100% of your business. And if you give a certain percentage of your business, so let's say you give 25% to somebody. So now you have 75%. The ultimate goal is for someone bigger to come in and help you, because there's different levels of money. And then when that person comes in, they're going to ask for 15%. But that 15% has to come from somewhere. So it's going to come from your 75 and it's going to come from their 25. You always want to make sure, especially women, that you are at least 51%. So whenever you negotiate initially, make sure that you're negotiating knowing that when it comes time to have to give up percentages, you're still going to maintain majority ownership. If you go into business with your husband, make sure you are 51% because you are a woman-owned business. But so the venture capitalist aspect of it, there's angel seed investors, there's people that'll just put a little bit of money. Our situation, we found from someone recommended that we call them. It's a company here in Jacksonville, it's PS27 Ventures, and they, for the most part, invest in tech companies. And that's one of the biggest challenges, is everyone's investing in tech companies.
Yeah.
So, but what they have is it's an accelerator program. So we're with them for 18 months, and they literally go every step of the way with us. They were like, you have to set up a sales timeline. They helped us with our financial statements, our accounting, our marketing. When we first started, we were blended designs, but we were, pink's my favorite color, pink and green. But
I wonder why.
Yes, Miss Dr. Signal Theta, you wonder why. But so they were like, yeah, that's, the professionalism of it. They liked it, but, to get us to rebrand, we were calling our characters the backpack swag kids. They were like, then you're making yourself only backpacks. Like, what else can you do? Like, you don't want them to just be backpacks. Their motto is think big, start small. And so they're thinking as a big picture as where we can be 5 and 6 years from now. And I'm thinking, okay, I just want to sell some backpacks. But as you can see, we've done so much more than that. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, what we're planning for 2019 and for 2020 and 2019 and 2020 is based upon a lot of direction from our main venture capitalists. So
Mm-hmm.
I would advise, if you get money from somebody, it's someone that's a vested interest, someone that is actually part of your business structure, not someone that just says, here's $20,000 or here's $100,000. Do, you know, I'm going to now own a piece of your business, but I'm not going to do anything to help you get to the next level.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's amazing. And yeah, I forgot to even mention that besides it being more than backpacks as a purpose, you really do sell more than backpacks, right? So you got those dope travel bags, you got so many different things for adults. So it's not just things for children, right?
And it's still crazy. I mean, the backpacks are still 90% of our business. So it's like, at the end of the day, we're really, our consumer is mom.
Right.
And so the mom is buying not just for her children. We're trying to get her to buy for herself. But at the end of the day, we're still targeting kids. Our students, I shouldn't even say kids, because we have, it's always fun when we get college students that send us pictures of themselves with the backpacks. Our son is at Morehouse, and he would send pictures of someone from Spelman with one of our backpacks. He's like, hey, that's my mom's.
Cool. By the way. Cool. So I'm going to ask, what retail stores sell your backpacks? And as a Black entrepreneur, how hard was it to make inroads into those stores?
So we're not in any retail stores now. We've actually made a strategic decision based with our venture capitalists that not to get in too early, because you know, they're going to take a lot of your margin, a lot, and they're going to dictate your price. So you really want to establish yourself so that they can't change your price. To get into a retail store is actually a lot easier than you think it is if you are a person of color or a woman, veteran owned, because you don't go through the buyer, you go through supplier diversity. So supplier diversity has quotas that they have to meet. You know, they're saying we are going to do X number of dollars of business within minority businesses, within women-owned businesses. And so you send your decks to them. That's who you send it to. Go to their website. They are very, very transparent of who supplier diversity is, and then let them advocate on your behalf. So like I said, it's really not as hard as people think it is. Yeah, especially for us, I should say.
Right. And when you have a quality, you know, product, and like you said, you've done the work, you know your story, you have results. Thank you, eFierce88, for those questions. Ms. Taylor Moore asks, how did or do you test the durability of the backpacks?
Okay, so like I said, we got them in 2017. And I will never forget, I wanted to kill him. I was picking Carter up from the bus stop, and it was the last day of school. You know, kids put every single thing that was in their desk since the first day of school in their backpack. He was dragging it down the street.
You have that mother face right now.
I wanted to kill him. But I was like, you tore that backpack up. And then I looked at it. I was like, oh, okay, well, these work. So, you know, those were the kind of things that we looked at. We've had people say that the fact that when our backpack is empty, it stands up, that's how they're able to tell the quality versus another quality. So like you can take one of our empty backpacks and, you know, like punch it just to make the bottom flat, and it will stand up by itself. We've also done competitive analysis where we look at, Squad goes.
I was like, I think it's right over there. This is my own one. This one I kept.
Really funny. Well,
I travel with it everywhere. You see it standing up. It's pretty empty right now. Yes. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so Harvey is saying, show us. Like, so I'm actually at the office because I didn't want our dogs barking when I was on the call. So the other thing we did, which I recommend anyone that you do, get your competitors' products, because it's really what you're doing is a competitive analysis. I used to work for Hershey. Oh, we used to taste other people's candy because we taste it for a reason. So it's not like I'm trying to copy what they're doing. I'm trying to understand what is it that we're doing that differentiates us? Like, how are we different? So always, I don't care what you sell, do a competitive analysis. Like, just do a spreadsheet and look at what you have versus what they have, what features you have versus features that they have, and how can you improve your product. So this is our backpack wall. And so you can see, like, we've expanded. Hold on one second. Let me turn this around. Okay, so like we wanted it to be a certain width because we wanted, you know, all the kids carry binders now. So, you know, that was important to measure that. So that's one of the ways that we look at, you know, how we can improve. Our first year of backpacks were not as wide as these. So, and then we had the college size, which you have, your backpack. But so this backpack comes in 2 sizes, but it has an extra pocket and it's bigger in height than these are.
That's right, for my water bottle.
So hopefully that helps.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good. I think that, you know, that point about testing out your competitors' product. We go to other events and expos, right? You got to know what folks are doing, not even so much because you want to compete with them, but because you want to stay in the know, right? And be able to have your own unique selling proposition that makes your product unique and different.
And then, and not only that, you know, I personally have recommended other people that are our competitors because there's like we've had people ask if, you know, they want our character to look a certain way or do a certain thing. Like there's some, I can't think of them off the top of my head, but there are a couple of companies that have like professions, their character professions. So I'll tell them, you know, well, they have
a doctor or a lawyer or something.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're not for everybody.
You can't be everything. You can't be everything. You're not for everybody.
You're not.
You know your market. You master your market, and that's what you do.
And I think, you know, when you're comfortable enough that you can recommend a competitor, it not only you gain respect from that consumer, you also can gain respect from that competitor. We've had people post different things, like, you know, people will say something about another business on our page. We don't delete it, you know. It's fine, go ahead, you know.
There's enough out there for all of us to win, right? You know, for all of us to eat.
Harvey, my husband will say, we're Nike. Like that's what he says is, you know, we can't worry about what everybody else is doing. You know, Nike doesn't spend time attacking anybody else. So we don't attack anybody. And, you know, we do try to uplift other businesses as well. His grace. Yes. My guy.
I'm going to have to get you about my Black owned business shirt.
I need that.
Yes.
You know, I only wear black t-shirts too. So
This is us. Well, great. This has been so amazing. Thank you so much, Casey. Shout out to your husband, Harvey, who's been helping in the background. Shout out to the husband who hold us down. And just tell folks real quick how they can find you, follow you, and anything you have coming up.
So all of our social media and our website is Blended Designs. Our website is blendeddesigns.com. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook and, of course, Instagram. My personal Instagram is IVYPROFEN. I've just started using my Instagram more, so
so it's like ibuprofen, but ibuprofen.
I wonder why. Like, why did
I wonder why. Let me put some elephants down here real quick.
Okay, not the elephants. You know, you see all this yellow here, like, you know, it's a little even with this yellow and blue. Like, what is this? You know, got some Sigma Gamma Rose that might like my office.
Right. For those of you who are wondering, I'm Adelta, Casey's the AKA. It's all fun and love. We love each other. We are sisters at the end of the day. But, you know, we got to talk a little bit of trash, just a little bit.
Well, let me just say real quick, the sisters, like all of the people that think that Black women don't support each other, like, y'all could just, if you guys could just see my messages, we get so much love, so much support. We get support from, you know, I get big orders from Deltas all the time. So, you know, like they're buying chapter bags. It's not about, it's about wanting to see us win. And I, you know, we've just been so blessed. We're so grateful. And it's important for us to give back. I want you to hear this because I know, you know, you have a calling on your life. So our the pastor that we heard on this past Sunday, he said that God gives things to you that he can move through you. So when we are blessed, I'm not being blessed for me. God is only blessing me so that he can move through me to bless somebody else. So it is my duty and my responsibility to be a blessing to others. And so that's what we build our business on. That's what we build our foundation on in every single thing that we do.
Amazing. That was an incredible way to end. Thank you so much for sharing that with us and for sharing your story with us. Everybody, thank you for joining us tonight. You can, if you caught on at the end, you can catch it in the replay. It'll be on here for 24 hours. We will also have clips on IGTV and the full interview on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. So be sure to check it out. Support Blended Designs. Be sure that you can say, I knew about them when, because it's already going to be blowing up even more than it already has. And we want to continue to support one another, and buy Black and buy from a Black woman and support one another. Real quick announcement about what we have coming up. You may have seen already, in addition to launching our Founders Chat, we also launched our Prayer Cast, which is our podcast for prayer. And so we will be gathering every Monday at 7 a.m. for 15 minutes of powerful prayer, because we believe that God is in control of every area of our lives, especially our businesses. And a lot of the things that we hope and want and dream for, we have not been able to access because we have not tapped into the source. We think the source is a venture capitalist or an investor or whomever, when the ultimate source is God, and those are just resources. So join us in prayer every Monday at 7 a.m. for 15 minutes. You can register. There's a link in our bio. You only have to register once to get the dial-in information. I know Casey will be joining us when she can, and we're also going to have special guests joining us for prayer. So Casey, look out for that email to join us as our special guest on the prayer call and to pray with us and for us. And thank you all. Everybody have a wonderful, wonderful night. Casey, thank you so much. See you and Harvey. Praying God's continued blessings over you and your business. Sisters in Business is a fan for life. I'm a fan for life, and you know that. We love you so much.
Mutual fans, because you know I love you guys. I am supporting you. I am doing whatever we can to promote Sisters in Business, because that's what we are designed to do, Sisters in Business.
Yes. Thank you. Everybody have a good night. Thanks, Casey.
Have a good night. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Oh, before I hang up, thank you to Trinity Scribes, one of our ambassadors for the Sisters in Business Expo in Newark, who's been taking some amazing notes tonight so that you all can catch up through the comments. So shout out to Danita from Trinity Scribes. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.